So I'll just sit here and then you can face me and so, Eliana, tell me how things have been going. How's the season been going for you so far?
It's been going well. It's been really cool to see the new team come together and just see the freshmen really start vocalizing and step up. Yeah, and for me, being captain and finding my own abilities and being more authoritative, that's been a cool journey.
Yes, that's interesting. An interesting point about being captain. Have you had that leadership role in the past?
Yeah, I have in the past when I was younger, and then I kind of hopped clubs a bit in high school, so that never solidified later on. But yeah, it's something that I have fond memories of. So.
And you seem to be enjoying it, the vocalization bit. How's the team chemistry from your perspective?
I think it's really good, especially off the field. On the field, we're still learning and getting to know each other and each other's style of play, but we're all super supportive, super great about clarifying things. If little blips come up, it's been wonderful.
Supportive, good camaraderie. I've sensed that as well because, as you know, that's one of my main objectives here is to enhance the team cohesion and the chemistry and because that plays such a big part in your ultimate success, whether it's on the field or off the field. So, what do you think might be some areas that the team could improve in?
I think communicating both verbally and non-verbally, if we continue to get good at that, our play will just jump significantly. I think that our backs have done a great job from the beginning about being very vocal and communicating, because you have to, or else goals are scored. But I think that seeing the mids and the forwards start talking more and starting to make runs and things without really having to say it, I think that will really help us in the future. And that's just a time thing, but yeah.
And let's see, let's differentiate between on the field and off the field. So off the field, it seems the communication is good. Maybe on the field is where it could use a little bit of an adjustment.
Just a little adjustment. I think it's the first time that everyone's played together, whereas last year the majority of everyone had a season together the year before. So I think that just knowing each other's style of play, like knowing certain people want to pass to feet, certain people want through balls, certain people are good with their lefts, just knowing that, and then knowing the timing of the touch, the dribble, the pass, just knowing that and making runs based on that rhythm, I think will help us a lot.
Interesting. So two things that I'd like to get to, given that you are the captain and you play such a vital role in the team setup, is I'd like to have you reflect on one of your peak performances so far from the season, and to try to identify and see what characteristics were present in that performance.
I think for me, where I felt the most confident was probably the first game, ironically enough, because I was so excited to be back, and I had so much drive just to go and to play as hard as I could and to just have fun. And in that, I had some really great tackles.
Remind me, who was it against?
I'm totally blending. It was one of the preseason games, maybe anyways, it was really fun. I had a lot of fun. And also, it was before school started, so things were less hectic. So I felt mentally like I could devote 100% attention to that game. Yeah.
So that's an interesting thing because, as we've worked together, the dynamics have changed because school has started and your priorities have changed.
Yes.
And now the dual role of student-athlete comes into play, where early in the season, like you said, you were able to focus all of your energies. So how much of your energies do you feel at the moment you're able to devote to soccer?
A fair fair amount. I think that like when it comes time for the game, I can just put everything else aside and it can be like 75-85%. And it's more in preparation or thinking of the game a couple days ahead where I don't have as much time to do that, or it's not the first thing on my list. So that is harder, but once it comes game time, I'm able to just kind of like let it all go, put whatever like homework or assignments or tests just like in a box, just leave it and not worry about it.
That's good. So when do you think you would be able to replicate this peak performance? Under what conditions? Like we have SF State coming up on Friday, and some massive games coming up. When would you imagine that you could?
Like after the win, I was very excited, and I kind of had that same feeling of yes, I'm so happy to be doing this. So I think in the next couple of games that will continue to show itself.
Okay, let's continue to explore. In addition to you having a bit of free time and not having the rigors of the academics going on, so you were able to focus. What else was present? Were you confident, given that you were one of the more experienced players on the team? You were one of the returning sophomores.
Yeah, that was definitely a factor. Also, because I graduated early, I had a club season left, so I played club this last spring with my club team, and it's just very different style, very different emphasis. And when I came back for our season this fall, I was like, yes, I know this. I am so comfortable with this, and so that definitely brought a feeling of familiarity and excitement.
Nice.
For sure.
So, yeah, one of the things that is like a major benefit of this work and this time that you invest exploring into your own mind is being able to create the environment where you can have a peak performance often. You know, rather than it solely being perhaps in the preseason, can you actively create the conditions that will allow you to do it day in and day out? I think a pre-performance routine is the second thing that I wanted to discuss with you, and that pre-performance routine, in my opinion, is something that helps get you like into your groove, into your rhythm. Some call it superstition, some call it a ritual. It's not. It can be neither or both. You know, it can be whatever you want it to be. But what is your? Can you break down your pre-performance routine?
Yeah. So if I'm coming from home or somewhere, I always put music on in the car, driving.
What
over.
kind? It's important for your activation and pumped up.
It's more pumped up music. It's kind of older rock, 90s grunge type stuff.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it just has a more aggressive tone than some other stuff, and so it helps me like get in the right mindset. So I'll do that, or if I'm coming from, like if I'm here studying, I'll like stop like an hour before we're supposed to be here, 45 minutes, and just like put all my stuff away, like walk around, sometimes I'll go in my car and just chill and just like declutter my mind, and I'll listen to music, sometimes classical, like it depends, but yeah. And then I'll come in here and get my stuff on, and then I'll go out and juggle if I want to just like open the locker and kind of get centered.
Centered. Interesting. That's a great term that is great. And when do you center? You know, is it just before the match, or do you do that at other times as well?
I think it's kind of a continual process. I think that like I know that I need to get there eventually, and so I'll start, and then I'll like center myself, and then my mind will like start activating itself again and be like, okay, we're going this way, and then it's like no, and then you have to recenter again, and it's just kind of this reminder, like throughout the warm up, leading up to the warm up, as the game goes on throughout the game.
So okay, great. These are all great points to jump off of. The reminders and the centering are two areas that I'd like to explore. how do you remind yourself? Are these like verbal cues? Are they thoughts that you have going on?
I think it's a mixture. For me, thoughts are definitely like a strong one. Like if I'm tired or if I'm not 100% focused, I'll like say either like stop or breathe or you have time or something like that. And then a lot of times like a body movement comes with that. Like I'll stop and I'll breathe, or I will I don't know, get in an athletic position if I'm like totally out of it and just standing there if it's in the back, just standing as the ball's played up. I will look around the field and like check to make sure that I'm not missing something, like there's not a person on my wife or anything. So it's a mixture of thoughts and actions.
Brilliant response. So though we've discussed this and we've worked on these sort of mental skills, I feel you've had a prior introduction to these topics, right? Like, because not many people possess the mental prowess, the mental toughness that you possess, you know, to know those sort of key terms. It could be as simple as stop, you know, but to stop the mind from spiraling out of control is so important, especially in a setting like sport, where your limits are constantly being, you know, pushed. So how else do you center? In addition to your reminders, you mentioned breathing. How does breathing help you?
Since I'm like running around a lot on the side, I definitely will like get tired and like start like my breathing's not as regular maybe as it could be. So what I'll do is after like a run or something and I'm totally out of it, I'll just stop and just take a breath and make myself control the breath. Like, you can hold this, you can let it out, and it helps me kind of realize that I'm in control of what I do on the field as well and this next play, even though I feel tired or something like that.
So probably one of the best skills personally has been breathing, to help with relaxation and dealing with anxiety and nerves and, you know, natural emotions, you know. And breathing, there's a few different types. Like the one that you mentioned, there's a complete breath, where some will say it's in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then there's rhythmic breathing, where you'll breathe in for a certain period, hold it for that same period, and breathe out. Ratio breathing, and the triple threat, which my supervisor just mentioned, which essentially it's like breathe in for 3, hold for 3, exhale for 3. And it's something that I've had you guys do in the pre-match and in the halftime, but it's something that I wish would be executed more in vivo, you know, because that's where you're shortest of breath.
Yeah, for sure.
So do you see yourself doing that on Friday? Like, what would be a moment that you think would be a great cue for you to take a few deep breaths and center yourself?
Like before we're defending the corner.
Lovely. Set pieces.
Yeah.
Of course, yes. I mean, that's a great example. Yeah, and just as long as you continue to do these, because what's your goal out of this? Isn't it to play at the next level?
Yes.
Yeah. And so, just as you train physically, very determined, very with a lot of work ethic, you must also train mentally. You know, there's so much, and then at the next level, the higher up you go, the physical differences are less and less. What separates you from your opponent and your competition is the mental aspect of it. So that's good. We'll continue to work on these things. You are a captain. You are a nucleus of the team, and it's been fantastic watching you play. And if there's anything that comes to mind, continue to seek me out, and we'll look to meet up again sometime next week to follow up and see how the breathing went during the week and whatnot. Okay, that's all.